Lost some weight.
Say that again, Dom.
Lost some weight.
Just wanted to get that on camera. Do you think so, Dom? Yeah. KUGAN CASSIUS, Dominic Ingle here in Sheffield, head of Rule Britannia this Saturday night. Kell Brook versus Frankie Gavin. Looking sharp on the pads there. I know it's a public media workout. Not a lot of your Ingle secrets are shown in that ring particularly, but how's Kell been?
No, he's had a great training camp. He had a few days off after his last fight. Did the Sheffield half marathon the weekend after he boxed. Did a really good time. Kept on his fitness, kept on his weight. It's been a great camp. Been out to Fuerteventura for a couple of weeks. Did some one with the training. Had some great sparring. Got some great sparring in England as well. So you know he's making up for lost time. You know he had 7 or 8 months out of the ring before his last fight with the injury, and you know that was a big concern. He performed on the night, and he was straight back into training. You know after that fight, and he's looking tremendous. Obviously,
Kell last time out didn't go 4 rounds with Jojo Dan. So did you have a plan in your head, Dominic, straight after that fight or beforehand, that if he wasn't to get the rounds, that you wanted to get him in ahead of the summer?
Luckily, I mean, he always trains for 12 rounds. We always looked at Jojo Dan as a 12-round fight. It was awkward. You know, he'd been on the floor a few times and managed to climb off. So I knew he was going to be durable. I didn't quite expect, you know, Kell to do the job that he did do on him. But, you know, Kell can punch. He's a dangerous operator. And he saw the opportunity and took Dan out there quick. And basically, you know, he just carried on his training from that. He had a couple of days off just to unwind, spend a bit of time with his family, then he was straight back in the gym. So, you know, his level of fitness has gone from strength to strength.
Are people overlooking Frankie Gavin as opponent for this? I'm not saying your team are, you wouldn't do that, but I'm saying the general boxing public a little bit underestimating Frankie Gavin in a way?
Frankie, you know, Frankie Gavin's a legitimate contender. He's in the IBF top 10. I think he was due to fight an eliminator with Timothy Bradley, you know, for the chance to fight Kell, and basically he's just leapfrogged that position and he's straight in with Kell, so you can't fault him for that. You know, he's always going to be a risky fight against Timothy Bradley, who's a tough kid, but you know, he's in with Kell, and he's the same age as Kell. His opportunity's come, and it's time to seize the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Obviously, there's always been a lot of talk about a huge summer fight. This is a big fight for Kell Brook, but the American names have always been talked about, the likes of, you know, Brandon Rios and Keith Thurman and these guys. You're not overlooking Frankie Gavin, but these fights are coming for Kell Brook if he was to get past Frankie Gavin.
He's got to get past Frankie Gavin. You know, I've seen Bob Arum in the press saying that you know, he'd like to see Kell fight Brandon Rios in the summer, and the winner fights Manny Pacquiao, which is a tremendous fight. You know, beat Rios, who's a credible name, and then get in with Manny Pacquiao, who just lost to Floyd Mayweather. Yes, so it's still some big fights.
Absolutely. I mean, the Pacquiao fight was talked about, well, a couple of weeks ago, soon after his defeat to Mayweather. But that's a fight you'd love to take, Dominic, for Kell.
Oh, it's a challenge. You know, Kell loves a challenge. The harder the opponent, the more, you know, the more it scares him into the position where he has to train twice as hard. You know, look what he did against Sean Porter. Nobody gave him a chance against Sean Porter, and for me, he dealt with Sean Porter quite easily. I think Manny Pacquiao now he's probably just coming down the other side of the hill, and you know, the time's right to fight him.
You know what it's like, obviously, being out of Kell Brook in Carson, to go over to America and to be a slight underdog and come out with that belt. James DeGALE did it over the weekend in Boston, and great credit to him, Dominic.
James DeGALE did a fantastic job. You know, he's the second person in the last 12 months to do that, and you know, it's looking good. It's looking good for British boxing having world champions, and hopefully on Saturday we're going to pick up a few more. You know, we might have 4 or 5 world champions by next week, and that's fantastic for British boxing because it creates the big fights over here. The Americans, you know, they think they've cornered the market in world title fights and world champions, and we're actually doing better. So you know, let's see what happens on Saturday, and let's hope we come out with some more world champions.
Obviously, in regards to the injury that Kell sustained back in December, is that completely out of the way now? Obviously, you know, you're not seeing any sort of side effects of that leg movement?
It's not a concern anymore. I mean, I think 3 or 4 months into the training camp last time, we realised that, you know, he'd gone back perfect. He was working fine. It's just superficial now. It's cosmetically ugly, basically. But he wears long shorts, and he's not too concerned about it. As long as he can perform, he's got the power in the legs, which he has. That's where his power comes from in his shots. it's not affected that in any way, and hopefully on Saturday night we'll see him put his power in place.
Just talking to Kel there, and he's obviously constantly going to be linked with Amir Khan until they fight, if they fight. But are you getting sick of the Amir Khan fight yourself, Dominic, as a trainer?
To be honest, I don't concern myself with that. You know, we tackle the job at hand, and the job at hand at this moment in time is Frankie Gavin. We'll get Frankie Gavin out of the way. You know, Eddie's doing a great job getting the fights. You know, for all his fighters, especially Kel. You know, he's delivered with Kel, and I'm sure if anybody can make that fight, Eddie can. If it can't be made, then it can't be made. But you know, it's not a massive concern of mine at the minute. There's going to be plenty of people out there wanting to fight Kel Brook. You know, with probably more credible names than Amir Khan. So I think it's going to be Amir Khan who's going to be missing the boat, not Kel.
All right, Dominic Ingle, thanks for talking to iFull TV, and best of luck for the rest of the weekend on Saturday night.
No problem.
Thank you very much.